So hello and welcome to Lew'S pit lane walk. We're just going to have a little walk up and down the pit lane. I'm here in Knockhill. Qualifying's just finished, a manic session it was. And we start here outside the WSR garage with the BMWs. I think 2/3 of this garage are going to be happy with Colin Turkington and Robb Holland qualifying 3rd and 4th respectively. That's a great qualifying session from Robb Holland as well. Obviously a man who's been struggling with qualifying previously, so he's been on it so far this season in quali. And Colin, he was the first one to make the switch to slicks, so that was definitely kind of a key turning point in the qualifying session. And he went fastest, but other people else who changed the slicks and caught up. Andy Jordan's 17th, so yeah, not happy with that one. I think would be a clear assumption. Now we're with the Honda Halfords Yuassa Racing. With Matt Neal, Gordon Sheddon and Matt Simpson. Again, another group of drivers who were up and down in that session. I think Gordon Sheddon was on pole at one point, but in the end he qualified down, up in 9th, sorry. So that's with maximum ballast, that's pretty respectable. Matt Neal was down in 21st, so I'm sure he won't be happy with that, and Matt Simpson in 23rd. So we're arriving with the BMR Subaru Lew'S team. Now this is probably one of the more happier garages along the paddock, and this side of the garage in particular, you've got Jason Plato on pole with Ash Sutton in 2nd. Ash Sutton looked like he had it actually for most of the session. He did a 53.3 I think with like a minute to go, and he was like 6/10 faster than anyone else. But on the last lap, right at the death, it was Jason Plato who pipped in by 89 1/1000ths of a second. And the other side of the garage for Team BMR is James Cole and Josh Price. James Cole as well, P6. So I'm sure he'll be chuffed with that. Josh Price not so much, unfortunately. P19 looked like he just couldn't get up there in the dry. He was doing well in the wet, but I think he was 10th at one point, so just didn't seem to get the laps together in the dry. So we got a bit of a gap now in the pit lane. I was wondering what else really to talk about. It's been a bit of an action-packed day, really. We were wondering whether it was going to be wet, dry, just generally everything was up in the air. Started off wet. In the wet, Sutton was quickest. Then we had 2 red flags during the session as well, which definitely seemed to sort of split up how the session went. And then Turkington, after the 2nd red flag, Turkington switched to slicks. That was a key moment in the qualifying session, and it gave other teams an idea of what the track was doing. Now another driver who's benefited from that is Tom Ingram. Tom Ingram qualified 5th, highest front-wheel drive car on the grid. And speaking to him a little bit earlier on, wasn't too displeased about that. He didn't enjoy the session though, funnily enough. He said it was a manic session, which I think is a fair comment. But yeah, P5, surrounded by rear-wheel drive cars, but I'm sure Tom's going to be giving it a good go tomorrow. Now, outside the Team Eurotech, with Jack Goff and Brett Smith. Jack Goff 15th, so he's in a position for points, but after an incredible weekend at Snetterton, I don't think he's going to be too happy with that. I was talking to Brett Smith a couple of moments ago. He's down in 29th and obviously not incredibly pleased with that, but he mentioned what he did at Snetterton last time out. He was 30th, went up to 14th, so he's shown that he's a driver who can move up the grid, and after winning in the minis also last weekend, he comes here in good form and high spirits. We also now arrive with Team Motorbase, obviously with their new driver Rory Butcher. We'll start off with Matt Jackson P12. Matt Jackson, he was another driver who was like 3rd, 2nd throughout that session, but I think just lost out right at the end. Rory Butcher was doing really well actually, all practice sessions. He qualified in 25th, which given where he was in practice, not sure how happy he'll be, and Martin Depper unfortunately in 31st as well, so another driver who seemed to just be struggling dry, didn't get the laps together. Now we're with Handy Motorsport, and that's Rob Austin. Rob Austin down in 23rd. Now I'm not sure exactly what's happened here, but during the session Rob Austin's times were all removed, so he was down at the bottom. I think Ride height is my only guess, but I don't know. So I'll see if I can find that out at some point. But that definitely prohibited him. Further down. He had to then go back. Now with Pirtek and a garage who I guess would be quite happy with Senna Proctor in 7th place, second of the front wheel drive cars. Obviously leading rookie as well, which is good for his Jack Sears push. Tom Chilton, on the other hand, in 18th place. So points is definitely in reach, but I'm not sure how happy a driver like Tom Chilton's going to be with being in 18th in that session. So we're now outside Adam Morgan's garage. Adam Morgan in 10th, which seems like a good result, but given where he has been previously around this track, I'm not sure whether he's going to be over the moon with a 10th, but after a mixed session, it was anyone's game really, wasn't it? So now we're going to head up. So we're now outside the Laser Tool Racing garage with Aiden Moffat as a driver, and I think this is probably going to be the least happy of all the drivers, with Aiden Moffat in 27th, obviously his local track, a track where he's been on the podium before. It's, yeah, that something wrong's happened there. I haven't been able to speak to Aiden or any of the team about what's actually happened, but I'm sure something's not quite right at the Laser Tool Racing garage with Aiden Moffat. So we'll now move on to Team Hard with their 3 CCs, cars that really shouldn't be going too well around here, but Jake Hill was fastest at one point, which I'm sure he'll be happy about. Ended up in 16th place. So I was speaking to him earlier this morning after FP1, and he wasn't expecting much, so 16th I guess is alright for him. You also have Will Burns after the back of his first Jack Sears Trophy round win. He got awarded the trophy at Snetterton. He is down in 26th, and not incredibly high in the rookies either, so a tough one for him. We also have Mike Epps in 28th, I believe. Yes, 28th for Mike Epps. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be over the moon with that one. I think it's fair to say. And we're now starting to arrive at the Team Parker garage. Team Parker with obviously Stuart Lines and Stephen Jelly. Stephen Jelly in 20th in that one. So progression has been made this season, and obviously after an anyone's game kind of session, that was 20th is an alright position for him, and Stuart Lines in 32nd. But 4 seconds off he was. I have a feeling he might have had a bit of problem in the dry, because he set a sort of similar time to what you'd be seeing in the wets. So I have a feeling something went wrong in the dry for Stuart. I'm not even sure if he went. I'm pretty sure he went back out. Obviously, I don't have any proof, but yeah, I'm sure something wasn't right with the car in the dry, because that time doesn't really stack up. We're now arriving at the BTC Norlin team. Now, Dave Newsham was in second, I think, for at least a third of that session. So he ended up in P8, which is a really good result for him in the Chevrolet Cruze. And his teammate Chris Smiley was in 24th. So yeah, I'm pretty sure he isn't going to be happy with 24th in that one. Yeah, obviously talking to him at Snetterton, he was happy with everything, but wasn't happy with 22nd, so I doubt he's going to be too happy with 24th here. Obviously, I don't know whether you noticed this as we're about to arrive with MG, but some of the cars are still on wooden stacks, because here in Knockhill the ground is so uneven, you've got to find some way of centering up the car so you can work out all the balancing. So you'll notice a few cars are on blocks. The MGs aren't. The MG drivers a bit higher than normal. We've seen Josh Cook in 11th and Aaron Taylor-Smith in 14th. So after two cars that struggled a lot last time out of Snetterton, 11th and 14th here puts them in relatively good stead. There's a car that a few years ago with Sam Tordoff driving it was up the front, so I think definitely those two drivers can bring it up to definitely top 10. And finally we arrive here at the AMD tuning team. with Ollie Jackson and Antwater Neals. Now, Antwater Neals stopped during one of the sessions. He stopped by the marshals down the hairpin. I'm not sure exactly what the problem was, but he finished up in 13th. So I'm sure he'll be pretty happy with that. Second in the rookies as well, which is good. And Ollie Jackson, well, he was down in 30th. So not great really for Ollie after he was looking to continue what's been good form for them so far this season. So yeah, that's it. That rounds it off here at Knockhill. An incredible qualifying session it was, and I'm looking forward to all the races tomorrow.